This is Local SEO Tactics, where each week we bring you tips and tricks on how to grow your website and get found online. This week we got a pretty cool episode. We're introducing you to Joe Anderson of Metaphor Creations. Say hello, Joe.
Hello.
Hello. And Joe isn't known to most of you out there. We haven't really talked about Metaphor Creations much on the podcast here. But Joe is extremely important, and Metaphor Creations, I should say, is extremely important in what we do because that's really a lot of our back-end development and the architecture that's really beneath the website that you don't see when you visit them that powers what we do at Intrix for all of our customers and everything we do. This episode's pretty cool. We're going to get into some technical stuff that may be a little bit foreign from topics we talked about before. We're going to get really deep into some plugins and some things you can do on your website for creating content. But I definitely challenge everybody to take some notes, explore these things. Some of the plugins Joe's going to be talking about here are free. Some are paid, but we're talking 10, 15, 20 bucks. Plus we got a coupon. Joe's going to save you some money that we're going to talk about in the episode. But these are things that are going to make it easier, faster, and more efficient for you to put out content on your website, which is extremely important. And you're going to have some dynamic content, integrating your social accounts, bringing in some stuff from Facebook and some other really cool things that his plugins enable you to do. And again, the episode isn't going to be a big, promotion for Metaphor Creations, but more about what we do, how we achieve what we achieve and how we do our websites. And you guys can really steal these tips and steal these secrets and use the same tools we use. So check it out. But before we get into that, we also want to kind of take the cover off something we've been working on here and announce it to everybody out here. So we're working on a new product in collaboration with Metaphor Creations. It's called Agile Alerts, and just go to agilealerts.com. You can learn about this here. This is the first time we're mentioning it and kind of getting it out there. And so we're going to offer this to everybody as a free beta. No cost whatsoever. But we say free beta. I mean, what's that mean? It's going to maybe have a little bit of bugs. We're looking for some help working through here, right?
Yeah, we're definitely looking for user feedback. Anytime it's just a couple people working on a project,
right?
We don't always think of all the different avenues that people are using it and what they would want. So
this is pretty cool. What it does, we kind of mentioned some about this in a number of episodes back, Bob and I, about. So if you're a small business there and I don't know, let's say you got 3, 5, or 10 people, in your shop or in your restaurant or whatever it is, a thing that gets kind of ignored or really slow response is like instant messaging, right? Particularly, let's talk about Facebook messages. Very popular. More and more people are using that every day to communicate with businesses. But from a business standpoint, really, it's kind of the least important thing. And I don't mean as in actual importance, but what we respond to. If somebody walks up to the front counter of your store, you jump up and you serve them, right? If somebody's calling on the phone, that sucker rings a few times, somebody's running to answer that phone. Now with the storefront counter or even the phone, most businesses have multiple people that can facilitate those customers, right? Now when it comes to if you get a message on Facebook though, most businesses out there have one person that's probably tied into that Facebook account. You know what I mean? So if you can imagine a scenario where you have some customers up front, you have somebody on the phone, and somebody messaged you on Facebook, what order are those going to be handled in, right?
Yep.
The direct customers and the phone calls are going to take much more precedence over that Facebook message to get back to that person. The disconnect here is more and more every day, people are talking to you and communicating with you through instant messaging, particularly through Facebook.
And those customers are no less important than the ones that are calling you or meeting with you.
And to an extent, I mean, it's hard to ignore somebody in person. It's hard to not pick up the phone, right? So I'm not saying this like that when I say it, but to an extent, those customers might even be more important because they're going to drop you a message. If they don't hear back from you quick, they're going to drop your competitor a message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When somebody's in your store, they're kind of captive. If somebody's on the phone, they're kind of captive. But man, if somebody drops you a quick message, they could do that to 10 people inside of 5 minutes. And you may have lost the business, right? So what Agile Alerts does is brings that instant messaging of Facebook into a standard convention that we're all used to, which is a phone call, right? There's nothing else out there right now, at least that we're aware of, that does this. So how it would happen is if somebody leaves you, or I should say, if somebody contacts you through Facebook with an instant message, you're going to get a phone call through Agile Alerts telling you that you have a Facebook message to address. And it's actually going to read you the message.
Yeah, it'll give you a call and give you the option to listen to the message and see what somebody has to say right on the phone.
Yeah. We're going to hopefully add a lot more features as we go. But again, getting back to this being a free beta, we're looking for a limited number of people to hook into this, to test it out with us. So if you get people contacting you, even if it's only a couple a week or even a couple a month, we're looking for people to help us demo this out, maybe work out some of the bugs, but then absolutely help us understand what other features you'd like to add onto this, right?
Yeah, for sure.
There's a couple things for a business. One is, like we just said, if somebody contacts you through instant messaging, your lack of responding to them, you can maybe lose that customer or that opportunity even more directly. But then also, when you go to your Facebook page, it tells the public how quickly you respond to these messages, right? So if you're not quickly being alerted to and thus responding to these messages, your response time is going to grow higher and higher. If Joe and I, all things being equal, as I always say, all things being equal, if Joe and I are trying to serve a customer and he has like an almost instant, response time listed on his Facebook page and mine says 12 hours approximately, who do you think the customer is going to contact? They're going to give Joe a shot because they know he's going to respond to them quickly. They don't want to call. They don't want to stop in person. They want to chat via instant messaging. So they're going to pick the option that has the quickest response.
Yeah, and I think more and more nowadays, if people who are trying to contact you via their computer or internet, people's patience is very short nowadays.
Right.
They want things instantly.
Right.
And they can tend to get agitated sometimes if they don't, within a reasonable amount. But,
right.
The quicker you can respond, the better. And, just the better you look as a company and a business as a whole.
So back in episode 28 of our show, we talked about the topic of more customers contacting you via messaging and how to optimize your business for that, right? I mean, people are still walking in, people are still calling you on the phone, but we're seeing in our data more and more every month, people are contacting you through these alternate methods. So that's really what spawned us to develop Agile Alerts. And again, go to agilealerts.com, check it out, completely free beta. And we're probably, for the first wave of people that sign up, we're probably going to let you keep this thing for free forever. This is going to be a paid product down the road once we develop this with a little bit more, robust feature set. But we're looking for some people to jump on board again, maybe go through some pain points, help us vet some things out, and then help us kind of create this. But if you think this is something that's valuable for your business, if you get people contacting you at all through Facebook, check this out. I'm going to go through real quick who this is and isn't for, just to kind of clarify, because since this doesn't exist, a lot of people might say, what the heck is this thing? So I'm just going to give two use scenarios. This is for a business where the owner, the manager, or whoever kind of owns the Facebook page isn't sitting in front of the computer all day long, or you don't have somebody just constantly managing Facebook. Again, like Joe was just saying, people want this instant response when they're doing instant messaging. I mean, the word instant is in there for a reason, right? It's not just messaging. Whether it be they're impatient or they just feel they deserve something that quick.
Regardless whether it's reasonable or not for the time that they want a response. And
it's their prerogative.
That's what they want.
Yeah, they can just contact somebody else. How are you going to stop them? But I think another element, which we kind of touch on in that episode 28, is the multitasking nature. Now that we have our phones everywhere, right? If you're at the dentist or the doctor or getting your oil changed, you can quickly contact somebody through messaging and to start a conversation where maybe you didn't have 10 minutes to call them on the phone and tie up by a salesperson, right? Yep. So sometimes it's not so much just because they want to avoid you socially or whatever else. It's just, man, I got like 2 minutes. Let me at least get this thing started.
Yep. So
it's in progress, and we can talk back and forth later. But again, at the end of the day, for a business who this is for any business who wants to allow, people on the team to respond quicker, right? Again, if you're the only person that has access to your company's Facebook page and responds to these messages, if you'd like to decentralize that and let the rest of your team be alerted to it, this is going to ring you on the phone. It's hard to ignore a ringing phone, right? Real easy to ignore that one-time ding you get when you get a Facebook message, right? And maybe circle back to your computer 2 hours later if you're really busy. So at the very least, again, in this very beta version, it's going to be very single function. If you get a new Facebook message on your business page, or if you get a new public post, right? Not if you post something, but if somebody out there in the public posts to your page, you're going to get alerted to that as well. And all it's going to do, it's going to call you. It's going to say you have a new notification from Agile Alerts, and it's going to read you in an automated voice.
The message.
The message, yeah. It's just going to read it back to you, and that's it. You can't reply, respond, or do anything else, which we're going to add those features down the road. But again, we want your guys' guidance. But it's going to allow you to respond quicker. So anybody who answers the phone can be alerted and then notify whoever they need to notify, take action, whatever. But it brings it to the front, and it lets you know that somebody's waiting to hear from you on Facebook. You can respond quicker, hopefully win that business, and decrease your response time to make you look better on Facebook, and hopefully even get more opportunities there, right?
Yeah. That's the goal.
That's the goal. That's what we hope it's going to do, and we hope you guys are going to get that benefit too. Now I want to say who this is not for. If you're sitting there in an organization, if you have somebody that's on Facebook every day and your response time is really low, or you have a team of people, monitoring Facebook, if you're getting 30 messages a day or something like that, this isn't for you.
Yeah, you probably don't want your phone ringing off.
No, you're already on top of it, right? Yeah. So if your response time is kind of slow, even if you dismiss this, here's what I can tell you as a business. You have a Facebook page. Sometimes whether you like it or not, Facebook will automatically create pages, if you will. Not like a business owner page, but as an entity or even a public place, things like that. More than likely your business has a Facebook page, whether you're actively on it or not. And unless you have messaging turned off, your response time is on there. So, this is free right now, right? What's it worth to you to maybe get one more customer a month, or one more customer a week and engage in this kind of a deal? So even if you're just curious, you want to try it out. Again, we're looking for some help here. So getting more long-winded than I want to. But again, this is something that doesn't exist. We're launching it. We're really excited about it. We're using it in our businesses here.
Yeah.
It's not just a thing to put out there for the public. We talked about it in the podcast. We're like, crap, that's something that we really need to develop because we could use that. So we're going to be on it too.
Yes. And ultimately we want to expand it, multiple social platforms. We want it to be your centralized hub of where your messages come in and where you're not going to miss things out there,
And I guess we'll tease a little bit. We're going to try to add some features down the road of being able to reply on the phone, right? So it's going to read you the message. We hope to add, as long as there's interest, where you can respond. Press 1 to reply. You can talk your response, and it'll post that to that message or that post to respond to your customer too. So you never even have to go to Facebook, to respond. It's not part of the initial beta, but those are kind of some of the sneak peeks at what we are developing and we want people to test out. So
yeah, those are the things that we want your feedback on as far as, what's the most important to you,
right?
As each stage as we progress in this product.
So we can wrap that up. Again, if you're interested, agilealerts.com. You can sign up for the free beta. We'll also have a contact form if you want questions or more information. You can reach out to us just to learn more and see what you think. But what have you got to lose? If you're going to get more customers and it's a free thing, check it out if this sounds like anything. Yeah, give it a try. agilealerts.com. Stay tuned for the rest of the episode. We're going to talk more with Joe, get into some things you can take action on today, some things you can do to create more content on your website and really do it a lot more efficiently. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, welcome back to Local SEO Tactics. Jesse Dolan here with Joe Anderson. Usually, Bob Brennan is here, but this week we got a special episode. We're interviewing Joe. Not many people out there know who Joe is within the Intrix world. Joe is a huge part of what we do at Intrix, though. I think everybody knows, obviously, we have this podcast where we talk about local SEO tactics, but we also have an actual agency business doing web development, SEO work, and things like that for our customers. And Joe is really the guy under the hood. All of our back end, the development, Joe is the man for all that. So we're finally ready to bring Joe on here, talk about some things that get a little bit more technical, but very useful for everybody out there. So definitely take some notes or play this again back later and kind of regurgitate some of this. We're going to drop some pretty cool info for you guys. We're talking today about content creation. A lot of this stuff we're going to be talking about here is some different plugins or things Joe's come up with that we utilize every single day here at Intrix. So Joe helps us a lot, on our projects, separate companies. Joe's with Metaphor Creations. You can find him at metaphorcreations.com, but we collaborate a lot. So we brought Joe in today to talk about some of the things that we've developed, some of the things that Joe has that we use for content creation and things that really help you guys out with your website. Some of the stuff we're going to be talking about here are free plugins that Joe offers. Some are paid, and we're going to we'll let you know on each of those back and forth. But again, for all of these, if it's a paid product, Joe's going to give us $5 off for all of our customers. Use the coupon code INTRIX for anything we're talking about here, and he's going to hook you up with a little discount there. So let's just start off, Joe, real quick. How long have you been doing, WordPress plugin development and things like this?
I've been doing WordPress probably for about 7 years now.
Okay.
really just kind of a self-taught programmer.
Sure.
Got into WordPress as certain web ideas were dying out, like Flash is what I initially got into.
Okay.
That went away and got into HTML and different content management systems as more of the web world revolved around having a site with a dashboard where you can go online and add content easily. So I tried a few things throughout the years, but really settled on WordPress as kind of the product of choice, just sheerly for the amount of use it has, the number of users it has. I mean, there's tons of support out there, tons of articles on Google. Being a self-taught programmer, Google is my best friend.
Right. Absolutely.
With the other CMS systems, content just wasn't as available to learn. So gravitated towards WordPress, and WordPress has grown throughout the years and become, a very stable content management system. So.
Yeah, I remember when we first started working with you a number of years ago, WordPress was still almost like a blogging platform. It was just starting to be, search engine friendly and things like that. And yeah, I mean, it's like the main thing now. Anybody that comes to us talking about, I want to convert my website or start a new one, we always say, use WordPress. And the thing we always say to them is, you can throw a rock down the road and probably hit somebody who knows something about WordPress. Like, you're not going to be locked into some, technical guru who's going to hold you hostage or whatever, just for the day-to-day updates. So absolutely agree. WordPress is by far the platform you want to be on.
Yep.
So you are plugin developer extraordinaire, back-end man extraordinaire. Let's talk about some of these things again for today's episode about content creation, right? So one of the big things we know for SEO is you have to put out content for your website. It's not just enough, if you want to rank high and maintain your rankings in search engines, it's not just enough to put up a snazzy website and set it and forget it. You got to be active. Google wants to see fresh content. They want to know that you're active as a business and legitimate. So if you're getting compared against a competitor, all things being equal, the person who's producing more relevant content and unique content on a regular basis should rank higher than the other person. So we're going to share some things with you here today that hopefully make that content creation easier, make your web pages stickier. So when people do hit your website, they stay on there longer, and which obviously helps your rankings for reporting back to Google for bounce rates and things like that. And just how to make yourself more efficient for sharing the content that you're creating and getting the most use out of it. First thing, and I'll let you speak to this a little bit more in depth, is the Post Duplicator plugin that you developed.
Yeah, so the Post Duplicator plugin is one that you can find on the WordPress repository. And initially I created this plugin just for my own personal use. I do have some themes that I sell that initially when just populating content for these themes, you're putting up demos and you need to have, show people a bunch of different pages. It's pretty tedious going in, creating a new page, then adding another new page, adding all the content. So I came up with this Post Duplicator plugin just to easily duplicate existing content and then go back in to each page I've duplicated and just change up one or two little things, just to easily populate a site. So we've actually been using this a lot with Intrix, kind of converting it from my own personal use to building websites and help make that content out there to get your web rankings without having to come up with everything just from scratch. So right now, Post Duplicator on the WordPress repository, it has over 100,000 active installations, which is pretty cool. Kind of don't look at that number very much, so it's interesting to see how high it gets up there.
And you charge how much for that?
And that is free.
That's a free one.
Yep. So, and like I said, since I made it for me, it was very simple plugin as far as what it does. My initial concept was have no settings whatsoever. It's just simply duplicate the content that's there. Throughout the years, I've added a few minor tweaks to let people customize how the duplicated content shows up, but it's a pretty slim and trim little plugin. So. And
to share everybody with how we use it for our customer websites is, so like Joe said, you can take any page or post. There's other things you can do, but just to make it really simple here, you have a page or a post on your website, and you don't want to have duplicate content, like straight up duplicate content on your website. That's not going to rank in Google, and that's actually a bad thing. But what this does is shortcuts the process of creating a new page, right? So like Joe's saying, if you have a page that's looking good, the certain format, you get your headline at the top, some paragraph of text, some bullet points, and it just looks good. And you want the next page you're going to create to look the same, like it's part of the same website. Then you just go and you pull up that page that you're going to use kind of as your template. And it's just one little link. You click the button, says duplicate, takes about a second or two. And now that page is cloned. It'll rename the page with the,
like a copy.
Yeah. Postfix or whatever at the end, copy. And then you edit that page. Now, obviously, technically from an SEO standpoint, you're going to want to change as much as on that page as you can, right? Like I'm not recommending people just duplicate a page and, maybe change the title and boom, you got a new landing page for, widget A and now widget B duplicated. This is really to jumpstart the process, like Joe was saying, of creating a page that looks similar, looks like it belongs. And then you're going to want to modify that content as much as possible to make it unique and different from the pages. But got to tell you, it saves us a ton of time internally here at Intrix for creating these new pages. Part of the service we offer for customers is content creation. And instead of jumping back and forth like we used to, saying, okay, so I got a paragraph here and then my bullet points and then my image on the right-hand side and kind of making the layouts all look the same, you just copy the son of a gun, you edit it, and then you're off to the races. It's super slick. So
and it's free. So
and it's free.
Give it a try.
Like, right.
If you don't like it,
yeah,
just disable it.
Just disable it. It's going to save you some time. The price is great. We literally use this like every day here. So check that out. You guys are going to like that. So I said just pages and posts. Is there other types of content you want to talk about real quick that it does?
Well, with WordPress, you can have custom post types.
Sure.
Depending on the theme. If you're just an average user, it'll depend on what theme you're using. We'll have custom post types for different things. Like events or products.
Okay.
So you can any post
right.
per se, whether it's a page. Page is actually a post, but it's just the name of the post type is a page. So you got pages, posts, and any custom post types you can duplicate, and it'll copy the content. It'll copy all the custom meta that's associated with that page.
Good point.
And that's one of the benefits is copying all that data in one little button push. Because there's a lot of page.
Like the formatting and the
I'm going blank right now, but like visual page builders out there, there's a lot of setup, and most of them have some sort of, duplicate this template, but that's a little part of the page, where sometimes you want to duplicate everything, like the whole page layout and all the other custom content on there. So,
yeah. Shoot, even if it saves you 3 minutes or 5 minutes creating a new page, what the heck? So another really cool plugin that we utilize with Joe's development through Metaphor is alternate time content and alternate time widgets. I'm going to have Joe talk a little bit about those and what they are. Two distinct products. These are paid products, right, Joe?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So use the coupon code if you're going to check these out, and we're going to put links to all these in the show notes. So don't worry about recording these URLs down or anything else here. We'll mention them as we go, but check out the show notes page when you're done with this, and you're going to get links to all these products, and use the coupon code INTRIX for all these, and you're going to get $5 off of these. So yeah, alternate time content and alternate time widgets. If you want to dive into exactly what those do.
Sure. Yeah. So they're two separate plugins, and they pretty much do the same things that you want. One is meant for actual posts and the post content, and one is for your widgets within WordPress. Like most of the time, your widgets are on your sidebar and your footer. So what the alternate time content widgets does, it allows you to create different content and time it out for either specific days of the week. Like say you're a restaurant, you have different menus.
Oh, sure.
Different days of the week, you could set up a menu on a page and just automatically set it to say this is only showing up on Mondays. Then you create another alternate content for the same page for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there's different content, and once you set it up once, it just automatically displays what you want.
So it's kind of like scheduling for content in a sense too, right? So
so what I have is you have the ability to set, say, a date range.
Okay. You
could set a range from like July 1st to July 31st if you want to have content showed for a whole month and then switch it out with something else next month. You can set it for specific days of the week. You could also set it to just run daily from like 8 a.m. to noon. So like going back to the restaurant idea, if you want to show your breakfast menu, and I have it automatically switch to lunch, kind of like looking at a McDonald's menu when you watch it.
Right.
As soon as lunchtime hits, it
right.
swaps over and all the menu items switch. So instead of having to manually go in and have somebody updating constantly, you just preset it up to these times and dates. And
well, I think that's super useful for from the user standpoint too, because if it's breakfast time and I'm checking out a restaurant's menu in this example, I'm probably looking for breakfast. I'm not super interested in dinner, right?
Yeah.
So it's really cool from the restaurant manager or owner standpoint, because it's easy to show that different content, but from a user standpoint, and again, being relevant and sticking on the page, I'm looking for breakfast. Boom, I'm on your site. I got breakfast now, right? Or probably another example is like if I'm having a sale, like 4th of July sale, and it's going for this certain week, and I only want that promo to show for that week maybe or something, right? I can set all that up today, and then a week from now, let's say, that's done. I don't have to go in and take that thing down, right? It's just automatically gone.
Yep. You schedule it correctly, so you don't have to worry that you're going to miss, ending your sale in time, or
So how far ahead can you? Let's say I sit down on January 1st. If I had a calendar of events and other things, can I pre-populate all this like for the next year ahead of time, and then just back off, and it's through the year going to automatically add and take down this content that I've created based on the schedule?
Yep. You could set up the whole thing.
Nice. Any other? So you got what? Days of the week scheduling, time of the day scheduling, and any combination there within, right?
And you can combine all those. So you could say, you could set it up to only show Monday, Wednesday, Friday on a repeat, every single week. But you could also set up to say it only shows from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you can combine dates and individual weeks of the day and individual times each specific day.
Pretty configurable then.
It's pretty flexible that way.
And then your alternate time widgets is pretty similar to that, just for widgets, I'm assuming then? Or?
Yes, it's just for widgets. It's very similar format as far as like scheduling things. What it does allow the widgets, it's a little setup different on the back end. So each individual widget, if you're familiar with adding widgets into WordPress, you can enable alternate time widgets, and you set the dates, days, and daily times, whatever you want. But you can also, with the widgets, you can set your option to either show the widget or hide the widget, which is kind of nice because sometimes you want it to show most of the time.
Sure.
Like one specific widget, say, I don't know, just like one. I don't have a good example right now. Well, what it would be. But
so like, let's say if I just had in my top right corner of my webpage, like I said, this widgets are in the sidebar, right? Yeah. So off on the right side towards the top, like we're open, right? Or we're closed. If it's after hours, I mean, something as simple as that is a good example.
Yeah, that's simple.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and you can run with that however you could think about it, but
yeah,
same concept there. Days of the week, times of the day, specific calendar dates in the future. You can, again, sit down and kind of schedule all that out.
Yeah, I guess the difference I was trying to get between alternate content and widgets is with the alternate time content for your posts, when you're setting up the options, it's really to set it up for when the content displays.
Okay.
For the widgets, you can set it up to your timing to either display the content only at that time or to hide that content only at that time.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Widgets themselves, you add them onto the sidebar and you have multiple widgets,
sure,
all stacked up. Whereas with a post, you just really have one element, which is your post content that you're switching out.
Yeah,
that displays on the page.
That makes sense. So if you have a certain time of the day you don't want this thing to show in your widget bar, you'd say afternoon, don't show this anymore.
Yeah.
Next day rolls back around, it's showing it at 8 a.m. again or whatever. So question for you, rolling back to the alternate timed content. Like you said, this is for posts. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and if I am mistaken, we can cut this out. Beauty of doing it like this. A lot of sliders, right? Like on a homepage can be posts technically, right? Not all of them, but a lot of them I've used.
Yeah. Yep.
So again, we're talking about, you can show or not show effectively a post. You could also use this like for a banner as like a slider or something like within a page, or can you combine alternate timed content with maybe some of your ticker stuff to show? Because like you can show or not a post, but like if you had, within your homepage, could you use it to like embed a certain sale like as a banner or a slider, you know what I mean, and show it or not show it for sale dates or?
Yes, there's different ways you could go about this. So you could use the alternate time content. Most of the time, if you have a banner or something, you're using it as a short code in your content to display it. So you could enable the alternate time content to show different sliders at different times of the day, which would be one way. So with my Diddy News Ticker plugin, I do have a alternate time tickers extensions, which is very similar to the alternate time content and widgets. So with the news ticker, you could create a scrolling ticker across your site, and going back to the restaurant idea, you can individually set up timing on each of your ticks, say to be showing your breakfast menu items, and then once noon hits, it only displays the lunch menu items.
Or if it's every Thursday's ladies' night or whatever, again, like on Thursdays, that could be the thing that's scrolling.
Or every night
every night is ladies' night. Interesting. I think there's a lot of really cool use examples there. And we should say too, if anybody has a question about, hey Joe, can I do this, do that? How would they reach out to you?
I do have contact forms on my sites on metaphorcreations.com. So just
ask away.
Just submit a form and I'll get back to you.
And I can tell everybody too, the cool part about working with Joe over the years is if it's an idea that's valid and it's not like some crazy one-off, high-end production for one person ever. If there's some legs to it too, and it's not something that it currently does, he's willing to explore, modifying it, right? Or
I mean, I like hearing ideas that people have come to be, because as a developer, I'm only one person, and I do custom sites and builds, and I figure out some ways here and there where I'm like, oh, that'd be a nice addition. But for the most part, once you get a plugin out in the world that hundreds or thousands of people are using, you start hearing the way they're using it and ideas, and
you could never imagine it. That's like I said, 100,000 people, they're gonna have some ideas you never thought of. So well, I think those are super cool. I mean, if you guys just out there start thinking about on your website, if there's information you could dynamically display, depending on the time of the day, the date, things like that, what stuff you'd want to kind of scroll, how would that impact your business? How would that impact your customers and what you want to get out there? Some pretty powerful stuff. Some of this for free, some of it's paid. You have a price range you can maybe offer up for what this paid stuff would be, just to give some people some context?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
I mean, we're not talking $1,000 or anything here.
No, I mean, the most expensive product I have on my site is the Diddy Post Ticker, which buying a single license of it is $20. I do have yearly subscriptions on my products at a discounted rate, just for being able to keep up with, as WordPress progresses, there's updates to the platform. I need to keep up with the plugins to make sure they're performing and running correctly, and then as well as just enhancements,
So like for your alternate time content, what do those plugins run?
Alternate time content, let me see. So that is $15 for alternate time content, and alternate time widgets is $10.
And that's for a year license?
That's a year license. So I do have license options for multiple sites where the price goes up a bit. But
you guys out there, this is a heck of a deal. I mean, if you think about being able to dynamically display this kind of stuff and have this kind of control for $10 a year, $15 a year, even if you stack some of these together, you're talking $50 a year, like just for a bunch of these. Think about the amount of time you'd spend manually going in and, publishing, unpublishing these pages and making these changes. It's pretty ridiculous. We'll give you a cheat actually, just to check out all Joe's stuff. Go to intrix.com/metaphor. If you do go through that, we should say too, that's an affiliate link. Joe makes money off these when he sells them. If you go through our link, it doesn't cost you anymore, but Joe's going to give us a few bucks for the effort here too. Just full disclosure for everybody. So if you like what you're hearing about what Joe has to offer, and if you like this show, hey, we can maybe actually make a few bucks off this here ourselves as a show if people go through that link. So check it out, intrix.com/metaphor, and you can expose everything Joe has, which we're going to talk about some more of it here. We're going to talk about some more in some future episodes. But again, the value on these plugins is just crazy for what you get.
And I'll just also say, if you do end up getting one of these plugins, I mean, please contact me and let me know how you're using it. Give me your thoughts and opinions on it. Both the alternate time content and alternate time widgets, which I think are very useful plugins.
Yeah.
Whether it's lack of marketing on my part, but they're not the greatest sellers out there, which kind of surprised me because I feel that they're very useful. So if you do purchase them and use them, please give me feedback. Let me know how you're using them. Let me know ideas that you'd have to make them better. And make them more useful for everybody out there.
I think they're super cool. Again, for that kind of money, to be able to just have a set it and forget it for what's going to display when. Maybe the hard part is people don't understand how they can use it and what it is, but it's crazy powerful. Glad we got to talk about that. So we'll probably round it out with one other kind of suite of products you have, your Ditty tickers, which I know is something you've had for a while. Really robust. I don't know if you're going to get into all the kind of the niches that those are, because I know you got variations of it.
Yep.
But this is pretty crazy powerful too.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, my Ditty news ticker plugins, initially when I came up with it, was Ditty News Ticker, which you can get for free on the WordPress repository. I would suggest anybody who, even before purchasing one of my plugins, go get the free news ticker, put it on your site, mess around with the settings, see how it works, see how it runs, see what your thoughts are. That basic functionality you give with the free plugin is really how the rest of my extensions work. What my extensions allow you to do is populate the content that is displayed.
Right.
So with the free news ticker, you're manually entering in, say, like a sentence to scroll across your page, or multiple sentences, to create a full news ticker. And you can display it in a news ticker feed going across your site. You can create a rotator out of there to rotate through the ticks. You can also just create a straight list of items. So what my extensions allow you to do is automatically populate that content instead of having to manually enter everything. And I have some different categories of these items. I have some social extensions like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, where you can display your Facebook feed on your site. You just got to log in, set it up, allow Facebook or Twitter to
connect your Facebook
authorize your account, and then a little bit of setup on the back end with your ticker, which you can choose different options on how you display your content. There's no one set structure for displaying your content. If you only want to display like a post title or just your content.
So you say a little bit of setup, like to put that in context for everybody out there. If they throw it on there, install it, activate it.
Yeah.
What do you, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes?
Oh, probably like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. But like I said, I would suggest get the free plugin first, get familiar just with the general setup, because once you then add in one of the extensions, you already know the basics of the different ticker modes of scrolling, rotating. Now,
do they have to, if somebody's interested in like, I like this Facebook thing, which I want to come into a little bit more for some use cases, because it's pretty cool. Do you have to have the free one installed first?
Yes.
anyways? Yeah. So if you're interested in any of this, get the free one first.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So most of the front end functionality, to create the scroller across the screen, to create the rotators, that's all included in the free ticker.
Okay.
So the extension just pulls in the data to display on the front end.
So let's dive into Facebook for a second, and then I'd love you to rattle off too all the different extensions for the different apps that you have out there. But diving into Facebook again, we're talking about content creation here. I really like this one because, again, we're talking about SEO. Facebook is awesome. I mean, it's crazy popular, huge. Everybody's got it, but it's not your website, right? For SEO, one of the things again is bounce rate, or how sticky your site is, how many average time on page, right? Things like that is pretty relevant. And the thing I like about the Ditty Facebook ticker is you can pull your Facebook content into your website. Let's say maybe you or somebody on your staff is active on Facebook every day, posting stuff for your company, which is important. You got to do that. But now you can display that same Facebook content on your website, not just as like a link or like us on Facebook, or like a lot of people might see as a little, thing down in the corner, but like legitimate, taking your Facebook content, embedding it on the pages on your website, whether it's your homepage or if you set up a new page like our Facebook feed or whatever, however you want to get creative and use it, you can repurpose, and take all your Facebook content, put it onto your website. And now people don't even have to leave your website to maybe engage and read some of that. And again, they hang around your site longer. It's a little stickier. And it also kind of shows your social activity on Facebook, and kind of just enhances your brand and lets people know what you're doing. So that's personally for me, I think very, very powerful and a great use case on, how to kind of converge social media with your website. And again, our goal here for this show, for what we're talking about, is we want to maximize our website. Maybe somebody that's more deep into Facebook and building a Facebook community doesn't like to hear this because they want to push people straight over to Facebook. But quite frankly, to get found in search engines, for your local businesses, you want to get people to your website, you want them to engage, and you want them to stay on your website. You don't want to push them over to Facebook. And this Diddy Facebook ticker is a great way to kind of merge those two worlds. So
yeah, and one thing that Diddy also allows you to do is be more flexible with where you're showing the content. Because there are quite a few plugins out there to connect your Facebook feed and stuff. And you can throw your Diddy News ticker within a widget, put in your sidebar, but it also gives you the flexibility of adding it anywhere in your content.
Right.
So,
which is not very common compared to the other ones. Yep. Like you said, you can have a little list on the side of recent posts and things like that. It's got a lot more horsepower to it. So, what is the extension for the Facebook cost, just to give everybody the reference point?
Let's see here. All right, a single license cost for Diddy Facebook ticker is $15.
Again, and that's yearly, right?
Yes.
So again, for $15 a year, $5 off if you use the promo code Intrix at checkout. And that's super cheap to integrate that. So if you're doing stuff on Facebook, you want to get that somehow hooked in and embedded on your website to get everybody to see that. Man, check that out. So that's Facebook, right? So maybe if you can rattle off the other ones, and really for everybody else out there, we're not going to dive into each use case here, but correct me if I'm wrong, Joe. Same concept for all these ones you're going to mention.
Yes.
for abilities and stuff, right? So what other extensions do you have?
Yeah, so for social sites, I have Twitter. So we got a Diddy Twitter ticker extension. I have a Diddy Instagram extension. I do have a Diddy Flickr ticker, which...
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many people are using Flickr anymore, but if you are, it's the plugin to get.
Right.
So that's mainly it for social sites currently. Again, I'm continually adding in, not a new plugin every month or anything, but I'm continually trying to figure out new plugins to add into this whole package of Diddy tickers. But in addition to social sites, we also have a Diddy RSS ticker. So if you have RSS feeds you want to display, you can use that, and you can also combine RSS feeds. Similar to Twitter and Facebook, you can combine multiple feeds into one, so it's kind of an aggregator as well, which is nice. What else do we got? And we got Diddy Post ticker, which is my favorite out of the bunch. If you're a big WordPress user, it allows you to display your WordPress content in ways that you normally otherwise wouldn't be able to.
We're saying Diddy Post ticker. Does that work for pages too, or just posts?
Pages and custom post types and everything. Yep.
So, and for anybody out there using WordPress, the two main types of, pages, I don't know how else to explain it, but a post and a page can both be essentially a web page you're visiting, right? So
yes.
Just want to make that distinction too, because we keep saying Diddy Post ticker, and things like that, but you can also use this for pages that you're creating, even if they're not a post. So
yep. And developer terminology for WordPress, a post is really any page that's visible on your site. So whether it's a page is actually a post. A post is a name of a post type.
Can you start all that over again? That's developer talk, Joe. You said it on the beginning. So no, but really for the most part, any content that you're producing on your website, for the most part here with text and things like that.
Yeah. If you have a URL, it renders a page.
Right.
If you're just a user, you're going to a page on a site.
Right.
But that's a type of post type. You know, you're not exactly sure what type it is when you're a user going to the page. But yeah, so post pages, custom post types, whether it's an event, a product.
So this one of all your extensions, this has the most horsepower, bar none for what you want to do. Yeah.
And I've gone through different iterations of how to make it more useful and user friendly.
Yeah.
Because the whole core behind displaying posts on a WordPress site is using the WordPress's WP query function, where there's lots of variables to target the posts that you want to actually display, and trying to build that into a plugin where anybody can go in and manually set up, I want to display a custom post type with this category and this tag based on user comment count,
Sure.
It can get pretty complex. So I think...
which is good. I mean, again, circle this back to creating content. You want to create content that's as relevant and specific to the user that you're trying to get on that page as possible, right? So the more you can tailor these things to kind of bring in this dynamic content, if you think about the intent of, again, the content we're creating is to be found in search engines. So if you think about the intent of the person searching for the type of page they're landing on, and then what kind of things you want to dynamically bring in here to put more content on this page, that's really what we're talking about here at the end of the day. You got your base page, but you can use these plugins. This is not just here to be a commercial for Metaphor, right? We're talking about the tools we use, the things we use, how to make more pages, how to make better pages, how to be more efficient and cheaper, doing this whole process. Because again, we're all business owners, we're all marketers. We don't have a ton of time to sit here and write amazing pages. We're looking for hacks. We're looking for cheats. We're looking to try to make this as efficient as possible. Some of your stuff's free. Some of it is paid. But we're really trying to turn this inside out. What do we do at Intrix? How do we develop pages? How do we rank in search engines? And again, Joe's a big part of that. His plugins and development are a big part of that. So we kind of wanted to share, put a little spotlight on it, share with you guys what it is that we're using. And you can integrate all these in your own website too. So,
and one of the benefits of the extensions I have for Ditty News Ticker is that it does dynamically update, whether it's the post ticker or Twitter or Facebook or RSS, as new content is available, whether it's WordPress pages that you're trying to show or new Facebook posts, your site will continually display the latest items. If that's how you have it set up, you can choose to set it up differently as well. But it's a good way to keep content current on your site without really having to do anything.
Right. I think it's super useful. Again, I guess we'd say if this is confusing to some of you out there, if it's just a little bit too much, read the show notes page. We're going to break all this down. We're going to have kind of some bullet points, some links to Joe's products. Obviously, the transcript of this entire episode is on there to kind of read it back or highlight certain things to come back to. And then if you want to reach out to us, intrix.com/show. If you got questions, you want to talk about this a little bit deeper. A lot of you out there have already contacted us directly. Many of you listen, and I've had conversations with you. You know that. So we're here. Joe's the same way. He's part of this team. We all kind of think the same way. We're up here in Minnesota. We're Minnesota nice, right? So we're going to give you the time if you're legit interested in what we have to offer and if we can help. And hopefully we can help you. So you can reach out to Joe at metaphorcreations.com, or again, if you want to find him through us, we're more than happy to connect you guys too. So don't be bashful. Anything else you want to drop?
No, I think that's good for now.
So hopefully that helps you guys all out. Some great stuff. Thanks for sharing all that, Joe. You guys are going to hopefully hear Joe in some future episodes. We've been doing this now. We're 30 plus episodes into it. Doing it for, 7 or 8 months. And we're going to be bringing Joe in more often to talk a little bit more on the development side. We've gotten some feedback from people out there, like us to dive deeper into some topics or get into more tools and things like that. This is where Joe comes in. So get used to his name. You're going to hear about him more. And also, if you're watching the video, he's got some pretty sweet tattoos here you're going to want to check out. So I have none, so I'm very pale in comparison here, but we'll probably see him evolve over the years here too. They're not stopping, it doesn't look like. So all right, so check it out, intrix.com/show. Drop us some comments. You can see all the episodes, including this one. We're going to have links to all the different extensions and plugins that we're talking about with Joe. Again, use the coupon code Intrix at checkout. You're going to save some cash there too, and hopefully helps you guys out. We're going to get into here our 5-star review of the week. Got to say just a big, huge thanks to all you guys that keep leaving us reviews. This is our feedback. Lets us know we're doing a good job or not. We got a great 5-star review from ZM Diana. It says, great information, 5 stars. SEO is a must know, and I feel this podcast has expanded my knowledge. I look forward to implementing the strategies from this podcast. Thanks for the awesome review. Just exactly the kind of thing we're looking to hear. Lets us know we're doing a good job. The rest of you guys, we'd love to hear from you. Go to intrix.com/iTunes. You can leave us a review, and we'd love to hear it, and we'll read it on the show.